Always knew you'd fail, Bob. Those were the words my wife Lucy laughed into the crowd of 50 people at her company party, minutes after I told her I'd lost my job. She had no idea that the layoff wasn't a failure, it was a strategy. She had no idea I'd been documenting her affair with Marcus for 3 months. She had no idea about the $400,000 in hidden assets I'd been quietly securing. And she definitely had no idea that while she was planning my destruction, I was 3 moves ahead, building her checkmate. What happened next will make you rethink everything about betrayal and revenge. Viewers, have you ever been humiliated by someone you loved, only to realize that moment was actually your greatest opportunity? How did you turn your pain into power? Drop your story in the comments. Please, before you continue, don't forget to subscribe, like and watch till the ending to share this interesting story with your family and friends. My name is Bob Owen, 38 years old. Born and raised in Detroit, moved to Atlanta 15 years ago chasing better opportunities. For the past 12 years, I've been a senior project manager at Helix Solutions, a mid-sized tech firm in Buckhead. Good money, stable career, respected by my team. But that's not what defines me, not anymore. What defines me is what I became the night my wife, Lucy, laughed at my failure in front of 50 people at a party in her boss's Brookhaven mansion. What she didn't know, what no one knew, was that I'd been planning something for months. Something that would change everything. My father used to say the player who shows their hand first always loses. He was a chess master in Detroit before he died, taught me everything about patience, about watching, about waiting for the perfect moment. I never understood what he meant until 3 months ago when I found hundreds of calls on our phone bill to one number. Marcus Davenport, Lucy's colleague. That's when I stopped being a husband and started being a strategist. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where it all started falling apart, or where it all started coming together. It was supposed to be a celebration. Lucy's company, Lux Marketing, had just landed the Coca-Cola regional contract. Huge deal. She'd been working late for months, or so she said. The party was at her boss's waterfront house overlooking the Chattahoochee, and I felt out of place the moment we walked in. These weren't my people. They were her people now. Expensive suits, designer dresses, conversations about clients I'd never heard of, and trips to places I couldn't afford. I stood near the appetizer table, loosening my tie, watching Lucy across the room. She was laughing, that full-bodied laugh I fell in love with 12 years ago at a Juneteenth celebration in Piedmont Park. But she wasn't laughing with me. She was laughing with him. Marcus. Tall, light-skinned, designer everything. His hand kept finding reasons to touch her arm, her shoulder, the small of her back. Then my phone buzzed. An email. Subject line, position eliminated, restructuring notice. My stomach dropped. 12 years of loyalty, gone in a corporate email sent at 7:43 p.m. on a Friday night. I looked up, trying to find Lucy in the crowd. I needed to tell her. Needed support. But she was still touching his arm, leaning in close, whispering something that made him grin like he'd already won something I didn't know we were competing for. I approached the group, my phone still warm in my hand. Lucy's smile faltered slightly when she saw my expression. Lucy, can I talk to you for a second? My voice came out quieter than I intended. She didn't move away from Marcus. Bob, I'm in the middle of something. Can it wait? The irritation in her tone made several people glance our way. I just lost my job. The words hung in the air like smoke. The group went silent. I watched every face turn toward me, saw the pity, the curiosity, the schadenfreude. But Lucy's expression, that's what I'll never forget. Not concern. Not compassion. Embarrassment. Then something uglier. She laughed. Not a nervous giggle, but a full laugh, loud enough for people 3 conversations away to hear. Of course you did. I always knew you'd fail, Bob. You've been coasting for years. Maybe this is the wake-up call you needed. Someone in the group snickered. Marcus put his hand on Lucy's shoulder, protective, like he had the right. 50 people. 50 witnesses to my wife destroying me at my lowest moment. But here's what she didn't see, what no one saw. Behind my humiliated expression, something else was clicking into place. A plan I'd been constructing for 3 months, piece by careful piece. The layoff wasn't random. I'd engineered it. The severance package would hit my account in 72 hours. Stock options worth $340,000 would vest in 30 days. And Lucy had no idea any of it existed. The drive back to our Decatur home was 23 minutes of silence. Lucy didn't apologize. Didn't ask if I was okay. She just scrolled through her phone, texting someone, that same smile playing on her lips. I saw the reflection in the window, "Can't wait to see you tomorrow," with a heart emoji. She thought I couldn't see. 3 months earlier, I'd noticed the changes. Lucy working later, new lingerie in the laundry that she'd never wear for me, her phone always face down. So I did what any suspicious husband would do, I checked our phone records. Hundreds of calls to one number. Marcus Davenport. Her colleague. But I didn't confront her. My father taught me that the player who shows their hand first always loses. So I started gathering information instead. I hired a private investigator. Simone, retired Atlanta PD detective, didn't mess around. What Simone found changed everything. Lucy wasn't just having an affair. She was planning to leave me, but not before securing her position. She'd been meeting with a divorce attorney for 6 weeks. Her strategy was wait until I was vulnerable, then strike. File for alimony while I was still employed, claim emotional abuse, take the house we'd built together, the one I'd put the down payment on with money from my late father's life insurance. She'd been building her exit while I built our life. Morning light streamed through the kitchen windows. Lucy's bedroom door was still closed. We'd been sleeping separately for 2 months, her choice, blamed it on my snoring. I sat at the table with my laptop and coffee, opening multiple email tabs. The severance package had cleared. $340,000 in stock options, vested immediately because I'd been with Helix since the beginning, when we were just 12 people in a WeWork space. But here's the thing, the layoff wasn't random. I'd volunteered for it. 2 months ago when the company announced restructuring and generous severance packages, I made myself the perfect candidate. Took on impossible projects, missed strategic meetings, made myself look just expendable enough. Over the past 3 months I'd been preparing. Opened separate accounts Lucy knew nothing about. Moved portions of my bonuses, redirected my side consulting income, the web development work I told Lucy I'd given up 2 years ago. Never stopped. Been banking an extra $3,000 to $4,000 a month. Combined with the severance, I had close to $400,000 she didn't know existed. Lucy emerged from the bedroom in her silk robe, phone already in hand, pouring coffee without acknowledging me. I'm having lunch with my mother today. She wants to talk about us. About whether this marriage is still viable. Whether you're still the man I married. I looked up from my laptop, my expression unreadable. And what do you think? Am I? Her phone buzzed. Marcus's name. The guilt that flickered across her face vanished instantly. I think you need to figure out your next move. Fast. I'm not going to carry dead weight, Bob. Dead weight. She'd used that phrase the night before in the car. Almost like she'd rehearsed it. Almost like someone told her to say it. Lucy left without another word. I waited until her car pulled away, then made a phone call. Simone? It's Bob. She took the bait. Time for phase 2. The law office in downtown Atlanta had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the skyline. Attorney Patricia Chambers was known as the Pitbull of Peachtree, sharp, ruthless, and she owed Simone a favor. I slid a thick folder across her desk. Hotel records, phone logs, bank statements showing Lucy's unexplained withdrawals, credit card charges at jewelry stores and restaurants we'd never been to together. Text messages. Photographs. This is comprehensive, Patricia said, eyebrows rising. Everything you need to prove adultery and financial infidelity. Georgia is a fault state. I want to file first. Patricia leaned forward. Your wife's been meeting with David Kellerman. He's predictable. He'll counsel her to wait until you're desperate, probably broke, then file with maximum damage. Claims of emotional abuse, financial irresponsibility. I pulled out another folder. Bank statements highlighted, emails between me and Lucy showing I'd never questioned her purchases, never restricted her access. I've been documenting her freedom for months. Patricia smiled grimly. You're not just playing chess, Mr. Owen. You're playing four-dimensional chess. We filed the next morning. Adultery as grounds. Motion to freeze joint assets pending investigation into her unauthorized transfers. Lucy would be served Monday afternoon at her office. Maximum visibility. Maximum pressure. Monday morning, 9:47 a.m. I wasn't at Lux Marketing to see it happen, but Lucy's sister Michelle was. She'd positioned herself where she could watch, texted me updates in real time. The process server appeared while Lucy was at her desk, Marcus leaning in too close with coffee, unprofessional. Lucy Marie Owen? You've been served. The envelope dropped on her desk. Everyone within earshot went silent. Lucy opened it with shaking hands. Petition for divorce. Grounds, adultery. 47 photographs of her and Marcus. Hotel records. Text messages. Credit card statements. Motion to freeze joint assets. I watched my phone as Michelle's text came rapid fire. She's reading it. Face is white. Marcus looks terrified. Her boss just walked over. This is insane, Bob. My phone started ringing. Lucy. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again. Again. 15 calls in 10 minutes. Finally, I answered from a coffee shop in Virginia Highland. Hello, Lucy. She was screaming. What the fuck, Bob? You filed for divorce. You're claiming I cheated? This is insane. My voice came out calm, almost eerily so. This is documented. 47 photographs, Lucy. Phone records. Hotel receipts. The Ritz-Carlton. The Intercontinental. That boutique place in Savannah. Nice choice, by the way. I could hear her hyperventilating. You spied on me? You hired someone to follow me? I documented your activities. There's a difference. Georgia is a fault state. Adultery affects alimony. It affects asset division. It affects everything. Silence. Then, you don't have any money. You lost your job. I smiled for the first time in weeks. About that. My severance package cleared this morning. 6 months salary plus stock options. $340,000 vested immediately. The consulting business I told you I gave up? Been running it for 2 years. Another $80,000 saved. Separate account. All legal, all documented, all earned by me. The silence on her end was complete. I could picture her face, the shock, the calculations running through her mind. She'd been planning to take me for everything, paint me as broke and desperate. But I had more liquid assets than she did. You wanted to know who I really am, Lucy? I'm the man who saw you for exactly what you are 6 months before you were ready to show me. I'm the man who built an exit strategy while you built lies. And I'm the man who's going to walk away from this marriage with my dignity, my assets, and my future intact. She called me manipulative, but I cut her off. No, you don't get to do that. You humiliated me at that party. Laughed at my failure in front of 50 people. Told me you always knew I'd fail. But here's what you didn't know. I didn't fail, Lucy. I strategized. And now you're going to learn the difference in court. I hung up. Sat there in the coffee shop, watching people walk by on North Highland Avenue, living their normal lives. Mine hadn't been normal in months. But for the first time since I found those phone records, I felt something other than hurt. I felt free. Wednesday afternoon, Attorney Chambers called me into her office. She was actually smiling. You're going to want to sit down for this. I sat. She slid papers across the desk. Lucy's attorney called this morning. He wants to negotiate. Already. Turns out Marcus Davenport's wife. Yeah, he was married, separated but married, showed up at Lux Marketing yesterday. Simone had done more than investigate Lucy. She'd found Keisha Davenport in Savannah with their 2 kids and connected her with a family law attorney who specialized in child support enforcement. Marcus owed $40,000 in back child support. The expensive dinners with Lucy? He'd been using the company card, submitting them as client entertainment. Keisha's attorney sent a letter to Lux's HR outlining Marcus's misuse of company resources. Marcus was fired yesterday afternoon. Lucy was placed on administrative leave pending investigation. I didn't want her to lose her job, I said quietly. Patricia looked at me carefully. You didn't cause it. They did. Marcus's fraud, Lucy's potential complicity. But here's what matters for you. Lucy's financial position just became significantly weaker. She was counting on her income to fight you. Now Kellerman wants to settle fast. Clean split, you keep your assets, she keeps hers, no alimony either direction, house sells and you split proceeds minus your documented down payment. That was exactly what I wanted. Patricia pushed for more, attorney fees, compensation for the unauthorized transfers. But I stopped her. No. Accept the deal. I don't want to destroy her. I just wanted to protect myself. 6 months later, I stood outside my new office in West Midtown, watching workers install the sign. Owen Tech Solutions. My phone rang. Unknown number. Bob Owen. A woman's voice. Mr. Owen, I'm Tasha Reynolds with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. I'm writing about successful black entrepreneurs in Atlanta's tech scene. Your name came up repeatedly. I hesitated. I'm pretty private about my personal life. This would focus on your business journey. Though I understand there was a significant personal transition. I tensed. Atlanta's black professional community was small. People talked. What exactly have you heard? Only what's public record. But what interested me was that you turned a personal catastrophe into a professional breakthrough. 6 contracts in 6 months, 15 employees, revenue projections that would make most startups envious. I looked up at my sign, thought about everything that led here. One condition. My ex-wife's name doesn't appear in the article. She's been through enough. The article ran the following week. Front page, business section. Michelle called, excited. Everyone's talking about it. But then she got quiet. Lucy saw it. She called me. Bob, she cried. Said she was proud of you. Said thank you for keeping her name out of it, for not using your success to humiliate her like she humiliated you. That evening I had dinner with Aisha, the architect I'd been dating for 3 months. She asked about the article, about the journey. I told her the truth. I was terrified, angry, hurt. But I didn't let those feelings drive me off a cliff. I let them fuel me instead. There's a difference. Please subscribe, like and share for more interesting stories.